Welcome, everybody, to another great episode of Real Life Matters. And I'm your host, DBoss. I'm telling you today, we got a great show for you. We got somebody here special. She's coming out of Toronto, Canada. She's soaring up in the music industry. She's doing a lot. We want to hear her story. She's a singer, a songwriter, and she has a new single that's going to be coming out, Changes. It's going to be releasing out in May. So no other further ado, I introduce to you Phreckles.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm actually in Los Angeles, though.
Oh, you're in LA. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
LA
okay.
people, she's in California. where the things are open more a little bit down there, correct?
A little bit, starting to open, yeah. It got pretty scary like November, December, January, and now it's seeming to move towards some kind of new normal. Still waiting to see exactly what that is.
Wow. Well, Phreckles, your name. How did you come up with that name?
So I first started doing music. Well, I've been doing music my whole life. I started playing trumpet when I was a kid, played in 4 punk bands. I played bass guitar in my teenage years. And I started rapping maybe like 10 years ago. And I started under the name of Female, Female. And of course, if you Google that, it's spelt female. So everything in the world will come up. There wasn't really like a lane for that branding. And
Okay.
Female, I'm 5 years sober. Female was not sober. So
Okay.
Female rapped about a lot of like partying and drugs and alcohol and like superficial, like it was almost like an alter ego. I just saw what everyone else was making music about, and I kind of just went with that. And then when I got sober, of course I had to completely find something else to talk about, because I can't be sober and talking about like drinking and smoking weed and partying.
Right.
So at that point I pivoted into Phreckles. And Phreckles, my whole life, I was, I had a really, really hard time with bullying in school because of my freckles. So becoming Phreckles as a music artist was kind of like taking the power back. I don't know
Wow.
if there's cursing allowed on your show, but
No.
you know how.
Well, we're late night, so it's not too bad.
Well, let's just say the B word.
Yes.
Like when a man says the B word, like it's not nice. But like
Right.
when you're with your girls, you can use the B
Yes.
word, like, and yeah, it's kind of like that basically. It's
Oh,
taking
okay.
the power back in Freckles, and the spelling $PHRECKLE. That was mostly for branding, because if you Google Freckles with a PH and a $, all you'll find is my stuff.
Well, so what made you put the $ there?
Mostly like a little bit of manifestation, because who doesn't like money? But also just for branding, so that because coming from being Female spelt female, you can find my music online. But if you put PHRECKLE $, you will find every music video, every streaming service, every blog, everything that has ever featured Phreckles.
So how long have you been in the industry?
Well, it depends on how you view the industry, because the entertainment industry is kind of like a wide umbrella of like producers, actors, models, musicians. And I signed my first modeling contract, which is kind of my background, and has been really helpful with the music, because it's allowed me a lot of resources and a lot of like getting my face out there. But I signed my first modeling contract in 2011. So I've worked as a professional model for 10 years now. And I think right about the same time I started recording music. I started
Okay.
writing raps when I was like 16 years old, but I didn't put it to music until about 10 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. So you said that one of your idols is Tupac, and why?
For sure. One of the reasons that I do music now is I've had a lot of like really hard, difficult experiences to walk through in my life. Um, I'm starting a nonprofit, or I actually started a nonprofit. We just got our tax ID number last week for bowling. We're called the Bowling Addiction and Domestic Violence Association, aka Badass. But I've walked
Okay.
through, really bad bullying as a kid because I was just so different than everyone else with my red hair and freckles. And I pivoted from that into an abusive relationship because I didn't really have too much like self-love because of the bullying. And then I struggled with addiction and alcoholism for a long time. And through all of those things, music was just my savior, to be honest. And I know a lot of people say that, but there's specific artists, and Tupac, like Tupac's Keep Your Head Up song,
Mm-hmm.
especially when I was, I'm a single mom. I got pregnant at 19. That song, I can honestly say, kept me alive, like gave
Wow.
me the will to keep going. And Baby Don't Cry. Like those two songs, I just have like such a special place in my heart. And because of that, because of like the power that it's carried in my life and the inspiration and drive and motivation it's given me to keep going, I just have so much respect for Tupac as an artist, or
So
any artist that can create music that can inspire people to just keep going in their darkest times.
so you coming out, as you're coming from abuse, alcoholism, drugs, and you've worked through that, being a single mother. you know how you have the strength for this. You just kept, because some of these people, because you're in the entertainment, it's going to be hard, it's going to be tough for you, that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, and then you started a foundation. So when you went through this abuse, was anybody there? Did you talk to anybody about it, or you just kept it to yourself?
I did talk to people about it. I had a therapist. My parents knew. My friends knew. I stayed for 4 years because my self-esteem was just so shot, and I
Mhm.
didn't think anyone else would love me, believe it or not.
Wow.
And I was young. I was 16 when I met him. So, once
Wow.
we got past the 4-month mark, I thought this was the person I was supposed to marry. And unfortunately, I was, there's a cycle. There's the honeymoon phase, then things get, a little like rough, and then there's the abuse, and then there's like the honeymoon phase again, where they buy you flowers and make promises and, kind of like reel you back in, and it just keeps, it's progressively, it gets worse, and you, as a woman in that cycle, you want to believe that it's going to get better, but my experience was, it just kept getting worse. And the people who were there for me, I mean, I had friends that just couldn't be friends with me anymore. Not to
Wow.
mention, a lot of my friends at the time, he wouldn't even let me hang out with. The control was also a very like strong component in the
So
relationship.
did your friends blame you and say maybe it's your fault, or were they with you even though you couldn't, you know, go to them?
They definitely didn't say it was my fault. The conversations were kind of more of like, Amanda, I can't keep watching you go through this. If
Okay.
you're not going to leave, I don't think we can be friends anymore. And I was just so stuck in the cycle and so just, yearning for love that I was sick. I was willing to sacrifice anything.
And you were young then too, so it's like
I
you
was
didn't
young.
understand what
Yeah.
really love, if somebody loves you, what it is. You must have thought that was love. So for you coming, that's and I guess it's a struggle every day because you're in this entertainment industry. I know that you're at home now and everybody's not going much places, but it must be difficult when you see people having a drink or having this. And, I know that, you're probably strong enough to say, okay, no, I can't do it. No, no, no. So how do you, overcome that? Because you're in the entertainment industry and it's very hard.
Yeah. So I'm actually in a 12-step program.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally attend meetings regularly. I have a sponsor. I've done the 12 steps and I take other women through the steps. And
Wow.
how I stay sober today, I have 4 women that I'm sponsoring currently, and they have various lengths of sobriety. One has 2 years, another one has a year, another one has 7 months, and another one is currently out.
Okay.
I stay close to the recovery community because my alcoholism and my addiction wants to tell me that I can control and manage this. This time I drink or use, it can be different. I got this, and when I mean, in the past month, I have a group that I go to every Monday. Two people have overdosed and died. And one person is currently like in critical condition from drugs because this is an illness. Like, it is a mental, physical illness. A lot of people don't really view it that way, but it is a progressive illness that will kill you, and I have to always remember that. I have to always remember, like, maybe if I drank today, like, I might get away with no consequences. But the flip side of that is, like, I might, and I have crashed my car, get in a fight, hurt myself, hurt someone else, like die. Like, that's a like actual consequence that people face every day with drugs and alcohol. But still, our alcoholism and our addiction tells us we need this. It will make us feel better, and we'll be able to get away with it. And it tells us this in our own voice. So it's very tricky. It tries to rationalize with us. We always say, like, in the recovery community, like, every day that I'm working on my recovery, my alcoholism and my addiction is also doing push-ups, just waiting for me, So.
All right. But, I appreciate you sharing that story because that's something close to you and close, but, you do have a foundation and you have a badass
Yeah.
foundation that's helping people with that. So, and it's good that you're somebody that started it, that had an addiction, that started this this organization for people that they can go to for abuse, because we need that now, and you need that a lot of people out there. So now your music. Now, who would you like to perform with that you haven't worked with?
Okay, so people always ask me this question, and I actually have come up with a really great answer. Because of, I grew up in the punk scene. I used to have my hair spiked out to here, but I also do rap music. Like, the artist that I would like to perform with is Machine Gun Kelly, because he's kind of like that line as well between like rap and like punk rock. So yeah, that would be super cool. We'll
All
see
right.
what happens.
You never know, because people here on Real Life Matters, people seem to take up people on the show. They watch, they act. That's the question. So while you're performing, and I guess you must have had a lot of things, what was the most craziest thing that happened to you?
Oh my gosh. I don't even want to like tell this story. But
synopsis.
But I'm a very honest person, and I'm an open book. I have nothing to hide. I feel like the people who love me will love me for exactly who I am.
Love you, right? Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and give you this little juicy story. I was performing, and there was a guy at the place I was performing at who was yelling, the B word at me while I was performing.
Wow.
So, in between songs, I tried to be like really cool about it. I was like, hey, homie in the back, sounds like you got something to say. Why don't you come say it on the mic? You know, at first I was really friendly and he didn't come up. So I was like, okay, you know, and I keep performing next song and I hear him say, you know, the B word again. And in between songs, I'm like, dude, like you can't be calling me like a B while I'm up here performing. That's mad disrespectful. So I keep performing and I hear it again. And I tell the DJ, stop the music. And the DJ stops the music. And I'm like, homie, if you call me a B one more time, I'm going to come over there and I'm going to F you up. And he goes, B, B, B.
What?
So I like, and it's the redhead in me, right? Like, and granted, since I've been sober, I have a lot less of these crazy situations, but I jump off stage and I run over there. And normally if you want to fight someone, you want to kind of be like sneaky about it. I was not sneaky about it. I ran. So he basically saw me coming from across the room and kind of like pushed me and threw me. And then like a whole bunch of guys kind of like gathered up around him and took him outdoors for a wonderful walk in the forest. That's what we'll call it.
Well, it must have been a pretty good walk.
Flowers on the walk, but it was also just like super embarrassing for me. Everybody there said that as a rap artist, like that's exactly what you have to do. You have to like demand respect, especially as like a white person, like in the rap industry, you know, but I like to carry myself in like a very spiritual, like balanced, controlled, like peaceful way. So for me to like kind of like just lose it like that was not my proudest moment, you know?
Okay.
I want to like today, I want to help people, not hurt people, you know? So it's not my proudest moment. It's a really crazy story, but you asked for my craziest story.
Well, you remember that one. I guess you got respected. I guess the person must have respected you also for that. But okay.
I didn't see him after that, you know. I should probably pray for him because, you know, hurt people hurt people. At the end of the day, you know, if someone is hurtful and like mean and angry towards you for no reason, it's really because that person is hurting.
Right. But anyways, while you got your new single coming out, Changes. So what inspired you to write that song?
So Tupac. Like I said, like I love Tupac so much. When I first started rapping, and it's such a stupid story, but like sometimes I would be nervous going to record. So I'd like pray to Tupac. I'd be like, Tupac, let's go record this song right now. Like, come on, Tupac, be with me during this time. You know, it's so crazy. I would pray to Tupac. But not that I believe that Tupac is God or anything, but I do believe that you know, we can pray to, you know, people who are no longer with us. We can speak to them through prayer. I feel that's my opinion. So yeah, Tupac, you know, he was always like someone that I looked up to, and a friend of mine told me she wanted to introduce me to this producer. Her name is Pamela. And she took me to this studio, and the producer was Tommy D. Shout out to Tommy D.
Wow.
Who is Tupac's engineer. And I'm in this studio recording this song that I wrote the first verse on the spot while I'm staring at Tupac plaques on the wall. And it's just like so surreal because you know, this has been like my inspiration for so long. And I wrote verse 1 on the spot, and the chorus talks about change, you know. And I didn't know where I wanted to go with verse 2. And verse 1 is about how I've changed, you know. And the hook goes, I hope we keep on changing. I pray your seeds will grow. I hope you see your mistakes. I pray you can let go. And then I was thinking about where I wanted to go with verse 2, and Tupac's changes song popped into my head because we both had this song about change. And Tupac, in his Changes song, he talks about like how we're not ready to see a Black president, though it seems heaven sent. And he talks about like a lot of like the racism that was going on at the time and still continues to go on to this day. But now there's like a few like things that have changed. Like we have seen a Black president. We have this movement of people who, you know, if you post something racist or do something racist, there's like a whole army of people that will call your work and you will lose your job over it.
Jeez.
So verse 2, I wrote about that. You know, it was kind of like a updated version of Tupac's Changes. And yes, we have such a far way to go with this stuff here in America, but it was kind of recognizing the little things that have changed, you know.
Okay.
So then with the
we're going to be looking quite forward to that new single, because that's going to be talking about the new you and how you are now. So can you tell everybody where they can find you? I know you said a little bit at the beginning, your social medias, they want to reach out to you. Of
course. So you can find me on Instagram at I am Phreckles, IAMPHRECKLES. And then I have tons of music videos out. I'm big on visuals. You can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/FrecklesMusic, PHRECKLES, MUZIK. And then if you look on any of the streaming services and just put PHRECKLE $, you will find me.
All right. Well, I'm telling you guys, follow her, you know, wait for her new single to drop, Changes. You know, is there any last shout outs that you want to say?
Sure. Shout out to Sasha Stoltz, my new publicist. Shout out to Stefano Ugo. Shout out to my friend Duzems. Shout out to Tommy D. And let's just throw a like shout out to my daughter Kali, who's in the
Well, she's gonna be happy to hear that.
Yeah.
So hi, Callie. You know what I mean? I guess she can't wait for your new record to be your new single and all your music. People go out there, follow follow Phreckles. I say follow Callie. Follow Phreckles. Well, if you want to get to Phreckles, you got to go through Callie, right?
It's true. Yeah. She actually really likes the Changes song. So if I have the approval of a 13-year-old, I'm doing pretty good.
You're doing good. All right. Well, Phreckles, I do want to thank you for coming on today, you know, and talking about yourself, your journey, you know, and people, you know, you make a, which, you know, it's such, you know, admirable that you have a place for the people to go to, you know, for if you have drug abuse, domestic abuse, and all that, you know, check it out. Badass. It's not spelled badass. Put the periods and stuff between after the letters. All right. So I do want to thank you for spending your time. Thank you. And we're going to look forward to when you're doing some other stuff too. I know writers and singers, songwriters always have other stuff in the work. So thanks.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. So good to meet you.
All right. Thanks. And everybody out there that's watching today, bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.